as we try to sort of formulate that relationship with our children beyond just working with them on homework, but also trying to help them to become a fully rounded person so that beyond the studying they can react very well in this ever-changing world. And with me to discuss this topic is Hellen Chen, who is a US relationship expert who is visiting Dubai this week. So thanks very much for coming on the show, Hellen.
Hi, how are you, everybody?
And it's really interesting because we were talking, about self-development, and I said, well, why are you in Dubai? And you were saying, well, of course, you are a relationship expert. You love to see all the different cultures for your books that you write, but also you like tango.
Yes, very much. It's a fun because they're talking about the relationship also and helping me to see the world and also develop me to have a chance to visit more places. And I think it's very important for me to study how all the children and family and how people learning progress around the world.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? It makes me think that life is very much like a dance sometimes, isn't it? Sometimes
Yes.
we feel like we're just doing the twist going round in circles. But
the more that you know, the more you see, the better you enjoy.
Yeah, no, exactly. And as you say, pushing boundaries and learning something new. And of course, nobody gave us a handbook to be a parent. And as we said time and time again, we're all trying to do our best. Clearly, sometimes we get it wrong because we're human. But your big theme is, how to love our children but not spoil them. And, we all as parents or guardians, obviously trying to do the right thing. Maybe we overstep the mark sometimes. Maybe we try to overcompensate sometimes.
Yes, it's the thing, like we love the children, of course. We've been parents. We know how beautiful, how lovely they are. And sometimes you really wish you could really spoil them because there's so joy to spoil your own children because you love them. But the thing is this, if you overspoil the children, they never do the things they're supposed to do. When they grow up, they were still expecting others to actually spoil them, and then they will cause the relationship problem. If you go into the relationship, you need to be actually mature. You need to know, hold on your space, and then you need to respect the other person. But if the kids, since they were small, they always spoil, and then they once being kids, like you say, once be a mother, forever be a mother, and then once be a kids, forever be a kids, and then they never grow up. And then after they really into the relationship and be a mother or be a father, they will have a problem with others people. So they were making their life actually dangerous. If you are spoiled, that means you don't know control yourself when you need to.
Yes, and I think that's difficult for parents, because there's a lot of parents, they want to be friends with their children.
Yes.
And they don't know where the line is between being friends. Clearly they don't necessarily want to be authoritarian, and that's not what we're pushing either. But they're fighting between being authoritarian and being kind of best friends or close friends with their children. It's that middle ground that's hard to navigate.
Well, you love them and you be a friend. If you're talking, that was wonderful. Because being friend, that means you open communication with each side and you always try to understand each other. But spoil is a different thing. Spoil is when you do something and you're not supposed to do, you don't let them know. So you should suppose communicate, but you let them know, this is not right or this is not okay. You have to stop them. For example, if you want the children to wash their hands before they, eat food or something, for example, very simple. You need to repeat until they really actually do it, right? And sometimes parents just, give up. Okay, let them be whatever they want to. Or okay, they're supposed to stop them and have a manner, or they're supposed to be polite. And parents say, okay, he don't want to do it. Okay, I repeat 3 times and then they don't want to do it. Okay, so I quit. So that's the time you actually become spoiled children. Not because you try to be their friend. You will never spoil children because you love them. There's never too much love. You always can love your children, and you can always be their friend. But then sometimes you need to let them know. If you need to let them know, you have to repeat until they really get it, and you have to insist, because that's the time of education. And children learn by you actually insist and let them know. But you don't have to shouting them or yell them. You still like a friend to tell them. But when you have to let them know, you have to let them know. You cannot give up and say, okay, do whatever you want. And then they're thinking they can get by every time, and then they're really spoiled.
Yeah, and also, children children are clever. They are there to test boundaries, particularly when they're growing up. That's part of their process of learning. And from what I'm hearing from various experts is it's almost like you need to have a business plan before you go in, because you need to understand what will be the repercussions of certain actions. You don't necessarily want to have too many rules either, but you want to have certain absolute rules, whatever they may be, with a very defined consequence, and then others maybe you negotiate or not, dependent on their age and the appropriateness of that particular behavior.
I'm thinking it's instead of thinking of give the children so much rule, the better way to thinking is how to help them and guiding them to what it's supposed to do. It's better for their future. Instead of like, okay, don't do this. I'm thinking I'm not so much into like a teaching right and wrong. I'm thinking that's just thinking themselves. They should know themselves. But the important part is you guiding them, because you're thinking about how to help them in the future. They will have a better relationship and successful. Instead of like, okay, just tell them don't do this, and children don't know why, and they didn't have any meaning. You should let them think, but then you're guiding them. For example, like you're helping the children to have a polite, like a greeting people. Every time you see people, and then you helping, and then you also do yourself. So children will copy and learn and feel joy, instead of like, if you don't do this and I punish you, or like, remember when you see grandma, you have to call her. No, not like that. Or like, if you don't call your grandma this weekend, then you are very, very bad children. No, you don't do this type of thing to them. You don't set the rule, but you let them understand, if you do this, how it's important, how others will feel, and how you will feel. You're making them to like wanting to do so. So I thinking instead of thinking making rules, the better the thinking helping them, to guiding them to a successful relationship, which was all the culture and the people really enjoy and liking. That's more important way of looking at it.
Yeah, so I guess what you're talking about is more emotional development, helping them understand the emotional outcome of their behavior, i.e. if you don't call grandma, she's going to be very sad.
Yeah.
So, you really need to have a think about that. And also, we're all guilty of it at times under time pressure, although it's no excuse, is you have to set an example as well.
Yourself.
You have to acknowledge that person that's helping out with the groceries on the grocery, in the supermarket. You have to acknowledge people if you're lucky enough to have someone who's with you at home or helps you in any walk of life, to give them the acknowledgement. Because I guess as a parent, if you don't acknowledge that, then your child will see that behavior and, quite frankly, copy you.
Yes, they not only copy you, right? They also learn your emotion. So you don't threaten them, and you don't tell them like, if you don't do this, mom is sad. You don't teach them this way also. You let them understand how you would like it and how do you feel. You let them talk. See, this is what you just now talk about being a friend. You say, oh, then how you feel? How do you like it? So when mom do this, how do you feel? And how do you feel? And how you thinking mom will feel? And, you discuss about it. But you don't threaten them like, oh, they will be sad. You don't even teach them like a sad is no good. You let them thinking about how they want to feel and how they want to be as a person. I think it's very important for children to learn how others feel and how you feel and how you can create that kind of feeling, to understand about how the people actually after communication, they will get what kind of effect. And that will making children naturally learn. And then parents set a good example is so important. That's really, really important for educated children. You need to set an example for yourself.